Hi all, welcome to this special edition of Professional Visa and Education Services News Update. My name is Nish, I'm Director of Professional Visa and Education Services and also Registered Migration Agent in Australia, 991568498. Today's video is mainly on the COVID-19 situation, the pandemics that's happening at the moment. And also wanted to update you in relation to the operation of Professional Visa and Education Services and how we are managing the current situation. Now, obviously, no one can be better prepared in this situation because this is not something everyone practices on a day-to-day basis. However, what we have done is our business is still operating in our head office, Canberra and Hobart branches until the further notice from the government or the authority themselves in relation to shutting down non-essential businesses, and also either from New South Wales Premier to shut down on the businesses that are not essential. So we're just waiting on that news. So until then, some of us are actually working from Sydney branch, Canberra branch and Hobart branch. However, having said that, 80% of our team members are currently working from home at the moment. We just wanted to thank our IT and amazing telecommunication team to support us in relation to helping us out to set up this work from home and our telephony quite quickly on Sunday afternoon, and also some in the yesterday morning. So we are fully functioning at the moment in relation to all our team members are fully operating in relation to your application. So there has been absolutely no impact in the process of your application, and also all our team members are currently working as business as usual. Also, we have taken extra care in relation to ensuring that there is no privacy issues or any data compromise. So we have actually taken extra care, and IT team has been wonderful in relation to supporting us in this difficult time with all the resources they have available, and making sure your data and your privacy is not compromised. Now, obviously, as you know, no one can be better prepared in this situation. However, our team members, we have always been planning in relation to business continuity and also disaster recovery issues before the pandemics, which means our team of professionals were a little bit better prepared in relation to how to tackle this situation. So even our guys are working from home, they are well aware about the safety measures they need to apply in relation to self-isolation and how to deal with the pandemic situation. As long as the electricity and internet is working, our business will be operating. There is absolutely no need for us to shut down the business in relation to a COVID-19 situation. So we will be operating. We have also set up a special task force who will be dealing at the front end, which means mainly the people who are seeing our clients face to face, our receptions, some of the communication officers, consultants, and myself. So there's only a few people are allocated in Sydney office and Canberra and Hobart office. Obviously, the social distancing has been a major issue, which means we have actually implemented that in our organization as well. So everyone's there has been a proper protocol in place for team members as well as for our clients. Now, we have allocated extra resources in relation to picking up our phones. So currently we have double or triple the number of people who's actually picking up the phone, which means we can cater more clients over the phone using the communication technologies, which means you don't have to particularly visit us if you don't have any bookings, or if you are walking clients, you don't have to make a visit. You can make us a phone call, and then you'll be better supported with the extra resources that we have allocated for the telephone lines. We will not slow down or close the operation side unless and until there is an unforeseen situation where the internet or the electricity is down. There has been a bit of a media on the system outage for tomorrow night, just because a lot of people are working from home and a lot of data usage in relation to internet. So we will monitor that as the news evolves. So in relation to data outage, it's kind of something that we have already predicted, because a lot of people will be working from home, which means the home internet services are not set up to take the extra load as opposed to commercial internet. So we are keeping eye on the service providers, and we have also allocated some backup plans to run the system even in that scenario through networking through data cables and stuff like that. So the contingency plan are in place. Now your work will be carried out, so that's the reassurance that I wanted to provide to each and every one of our clients. We will not stop the business, or the operation will not shut down unless and until some unforeseen situation comes into play. Our business will be as usual. So after the quick update in relation to the operation side, I just want to move on to the main component, which is the visa side. Obviously, as you know, you all are aware about the fact that there has been a travel ban from the government, and then so mainly, there has been some confusion around the travel ban as well. So I wanted to clarify some confusion in relation to travel ban. You can travel to Australia if you are an Australian citizen, a permanent resident, a New Zealand citizen usually reside in Australia, an immediate family member of an Australian citizen or permanent resident, or are a New Zealand citizen usually resides in Australia. Now, the immediate family members being a spouse, dependent children, and legal guardian. Now, there has been a bit of a confusion in relation to legal guardian. Now, a lot of people thought legal guardian also means the biological parents. Well, no, because legal guardian is a legal guardian who is a person who has a legal authority, which means legally prescribed, legally assigned to look after the child. They are under 18 and who can't make the decisions, which means the legal guardian has a separate meaning in immigration law. So it's not a biological parents. Okay, so immediate family members, including spouse, dependent children, and legal guardian. Now, also there is a regulation 1.12 AA in migration regulation in relation to the definition of member of an immediate family. I just want to give you the quick snapshot of the regulation itself. For the regulation of a person A is a member of immediate family member of another person B if A is a spouse or de facto partner of B, or A is a dependent child of B, or A is a parent of B and B is not 18 years or more. So be careful. That definition is quite clear, because what is meant by immediate family member is actually prescribed in migration regulation 1.12 AA, and which I just went through that. Now, obviously there is a restriction, but however, the Department of Home Affairs have actually put the form online, which I will put the link in my comment box below this video, which you can click and then access to this form. Now, if you believe you are an immediate family member of an Australian citizen or a permanent resident, being a spouse, dependent children, or legal guardian, you can fill up this form, and if you want to travel to Australia. And now there's other situation. If you have a compelling and compassionate situation, a reason to travel to Australia urgently, you can also fill up this form. The link will be down below this video, which you can click and access the link and then fill up this form. Now, what is considered as a compelling compassionate situation? Where you have extreme situation where you need to be in Australia. I just want to give some examples. So for example, you're on a 482 visa, a sponsorship visa, and you are stuck overseas. You're a country town doctor. There's only one doctor in the town, and you're stuck overseas. From the visa condition perspective as well, you can't take too much of a leave because there's a certain situation that you have to maintain a visa condition, but at the same time the country town is missing a doctor. So it's a bit of a catch-22 here. So obviously for those kind of situation, you can actually put the forms, you can fill up the forms and give it up to Department of Home Affairs. It's important that you articulate your situation in a way that it's compelling and compassionate. I just wanted to travel to Australia because I got to work that I'll have to start from Monday. Is not the general scenario that is considered as a compelling compassionate situation. So just be careful when you're filling up the form, so that department can assess the situation in a case by case situation. Now, if you are entering to Australia, if you are allowed to enter into Australia, remember the self-isolation for 14 days is still in place. You may board to domestic flight or your intended destination in Australia to self-isolate there. If you are well and not symptomatic, you may self-isolate at your hotel. If the traveller do not comply with the 14 days self-isolation requirement, they may face a range of penalties that exist in each state or territory. So the same rules apply for people who are travelling from cruise ship or different means of travel. You still have to comply with the self-isolation rules of 14 days. Now, in relation to visiting our office, we are taking your bookings and we are seeing people face to face until the further announcement from the government. However, it is requested if you do have a symptom of cold and flu type symptoms, it is advised that you let us know or reschedule your meeting. If you have recently visited Australia from overseas, it is advised that you have to put yourself in a self-isolation for 14 days before you visit us. We do have put a self-declaration in place, which means before you see us, you will be declaring that you haven't visited any other country in the last 14 days and you don't have any cold and flu symptoms, and also you haven't contracted with anyone who's infected with the coronavirus. So the declaration is in place. The heavy penalty is up to $11,000 and imprisonment is in place from the government itself. So be careful when you're self-declaring yourself. You're not opening yourself to the vulnerability. So those are the safety measures that we have put in place. Now, the situation about the people who are stuck overseas, there have been a situation where they've applied for 485 graduate visa and they have applied for a bridging visa B. Their previous substantive visa has already expired, and then their bridging visa B now will expire in a couple of months' time or 1 month's time. It is a tricky situation because your 485 visa cannot be granted while you're overseas. So you have to be unsure in Australia for your 485 visa to be granted. However, your bridging visa B is expiring soon, which means it is a very difficult situation for you at the moment that you can't travel, and at the same time your 485 visa will not be granted unless and until you're in a country. So the arrangements here is not cleared by the Department of Home Affairs as yet. So stay tuned for the news. However, as of today, what we will be doing in the same situation right now is that we will be advising our clients to apply for a visitor visa with the situation well explained in the letter. However, we got to be careful with the GTE criteria, which means the genuine temporary entrant criteria for the tourist visa as well, like incentives for you to return back home. Now, I'm pretty sure the Department of Home Affairs will have some, more policy around this as the time progresses, because at the moment the country is focusing on how to stop this COVID-19 situation as opposed to focusing on the ramification and other situation at the moment. So, as of the rules stand, once your BVB is finished, and if you're still stuck overseas, we will be looking at the option of applying tourist visa. Now, there is no provision as such has been announced to extend your BVB while you're overseas, bridging visa B while you're overseas. So, we still have to wait for, Department of Home Affairs to make some announcement in relation to that. If you're on a 489 or 491 visa, can I come to Australia? This has been a common question. For the purpose of the travel ban, unfortunately, this visa does not fall under the exemption criteria. However, you can fill up the form that I just mentioned earlier in relation to describing whether or not your situation is compelling compassionate situation. I'm in Australia and I'm holding a visitor visa which is expiring soon. Now, usually we can simply extend your visa if you have not exceeded that 12 months within 18 months period, or if you don't have 8503 no further stay condition. Now, in both of the scenario, we can, however, try to apply for tourist visa again, which means there's a high possibility that your visa will be extended on the basis of compelling and compassionate situation. Now, if you do have a condition, no further stay condition imposed, now first we need to waive that before we apply for any other visa. So the waiver rules generally is very complex. However, the government has taken a little bit of a relaxed approach where the waiver has been granted within 36 hours, so which is a fantastic news for people who are worried about traveling during this time period from Australia to their home country. So we can put this waiver request form. Once the waiver is granted, then we can apply for extension, or we can apply for another substantive visa. Now, what about the AAT hearing? The tribunal has they're still conducting hearings. In fact, we do have some clients lined up for the hearings as well. Now, the recent hearing announcement was done. The recent hearing email that we have received from AAT has the mobile number attached to it, which means they will be contacting the applicant on their mobile phone. However, there are certain face-to-face hearings still. AAT are conducting, administrative appeals tribunals are conducting, which means they will. We can request them for the telephonic hearing. If you are self-isolating or if you are in a medical situation, we can request the administrative appeals tribunal with the evidence that we would like to conduct the hearing over the telephone, and they will consider your request in this situation. Now, look, it is definitely an unfortunate situation for for people around the globe. There are certain things we can't avoid. However, I would suggest you to keep an eye on your local health minister news and media in relation to some of the measures that they will be putting in place as we progress. The situation and cases are escalating every day. This video is not about the medical awareness, or this video is not about giving advice on any of your medical situation. This video is purely about the visa side and updating our operations for you guys. So you should seek your own individual advice with your GP or your nearest hospital in relation to your symptoms. Do not rely on this video or any of this advice. But in relation to your visa side, feel free to call us or visit us. We are operating from Sydney, Hobart and Canberra until further notice. Limited support will be available from Sydney office face to face. However, all of our team members are operating from home, 80% of them, as I said before, and we are not stopping our operation. Business as usual for us. Well, thank you for your support during this difficult time. I hope you stay safe around this time of the year in relation to until the situation is over, and don't forget the social distancing is very important, because that's the only way we can fight with this virus. Well, thank you for watching. I'll be back again next time with more update in relation to some general school migration 494, regional RDAs, New South Wales, and all that kind of stuff. News is in my next video when the situations are settled down a little bit. But until then, stay safe, keep watching, keep sharing, and thank you for your support throughout the way. Thanks a lot. Bye bye.